final arena combat aptitude evaluation program. This will be the last evaluation.
Main system activating combat mode. System activating combat mode.
Target destroyed. This concludes all evaluations. We thank...
I'll brief you on the job, tourist. The Xylem is just inside the Kármán line, skimming the border of outer space. Meanwhile, Arquebus still hasn't taken full control over Rubicon's closure system. They're locked out of the satellite cannons, making this their last line of defense. We'll be fighting their interceptor fleet in the air. But we're not totally screwed. This area of space is thick with residual coral from the fires of Ibis. Take a dip in the coral flow, and you could draw on an unlimited source of energy. That's all, tourist. Break through the fleet, and the vascular plan is ours. Time to do or die. Let's get our laughs while we can.
Main system activating combat mode.
Let the games begin. Hope you don't mind a little friendly competition. Whoops. Looks like I got the first point.
Locking approach to the vascular plant. Main fleet, hold the defensive line.
Bagged one yourself, huh? We're 1-to-1.
We've got eyes on the independent mercenary. Prioritize fire on Raven.
Yikes, tourist. Looks like they want you dead first. Tough break. 2 down. Not bad, tourist. Looks like all your fans are dying to see you, tourist. Blast your way through. We're cleaning up.
We've lost the Vanguard. Main fleet, maintain formation.
That's third interceptor to go down. Before it goes to the tourist.
Main fleet 2, you lost hold of the line.
They're spread out wide. I'll start taking them out from the right. You take the left.
AP at 50%. 2 repair kits remaining.
That makes 5. They brought out the big guns. Don't get hit.
Main fleet 2 is taking casualties. Hold the line.
Nice one, tourist. That's number 6.
The second fleet's down. How are they doing this?
7 to 5. I gotta catch up. Last round. Let's get that rear guard, tourist.
Attention Main Fleet 3. Focus your keel railguns on that AC. This nonsense has gone too far.
We're serious. Right, tourist? Thing is, the serious ones die first, so we should at least pretend to be having fun.
AP at 50%.
8 interceptors down. I scored 2 more. We're not done yet.
Flight children at
9. Ten. Good job. That's this sector dealt with. Wait, what's that? We're under attack? Tourist! Unidentified AC on the Xylem. Head back, pronto!
Here we are, buddy. I was right all along. You were just another threat to Rubicon.
It's that Vesper. That's no Archivist AC.
Even with the combined might of the corporations, I couldn't stop you. But this new AC can.
Well, that explains it. I don't know why, but it looks like he was using the most.
They've always been after Rubicon, taking what they can get. Someone has to put an end to this injustice.
There's no way the corpse took the closure system. Who's controlling them?
Augmented human C4621. Entering standard mode.
Raven. I was the one who fired the satellite cannons. I know that you've made your choice. Then I must do my duty. As a Rubiconian. I'm waiting at the closure station. Come to me, Raven.
This ship's pretty roughed up. Autopilot's out. We'll have to do it the old-fashioned way. I'll leave the satellites to you, tourist. You know, for a tourist, you've got a sense of humor. Good luck out there.
Raven. I know you can still see it. The voices of the coral. And yet you turned your back on our shared potential. You want to silence us forever.
System activating combat mode.
I will stop you and the Asylum, carrying our shared resolve on the wings of this machine.
No repair kits remaining. AP at 50%. AP at 30%. Light shoulder ammunition at 50%.
Stop the siren.
Main system activating combat mode.
the Siren, carrying our shared resolve on the wings of this machine. Symbiosis, shared life. I saw the potential for our future within you. You and I could have walked together.
AP at 50%. AP at 30%. AP at 50%. Main system activating combat mode.
I will stop you and the Siren, carrying our shared resolve on the wings of this machine. Symbiosis, shared life. I saw the potential for our future within you. You and I could have walked together.
Two repair kits remaining. AP at 50%.
You are strong, dangerous. I hold nothing back.
AP at 50%. Left shoulder ammunition and AP at 30%. Right shoulder ammunition at 50%. AP at 50%. AP at 30%. Main system activating combat mode.
I will stop you and the Siren, carrying our shared resolve on the wings of this machine. Symbiosis, shared life. I saw the potential for our future within you. You and I could have walked together.
AP at 50%. system activated.
the silo, carrying our shared resolve on the wings of this machine. Symbiosis and shared life. I saw the potential for our future within you. You and I could have walked together.
System activating combat mode.
I will stop you and the silo, carrying our shared resolve on the wings of this machine. Symbiosis, a shared life. I saw the potential for our future within you. You and I could have walked together.
System activating combat mode.
I will stop you and the silo, carrying our shared resolve on the wings of this machine. Symbiosis, a shared life. I saw the potential for our future within you. You and I could have walked together.
System activating combat mode.
I will stop you and the silo, carrying our shared resolve on the wings of this machine. Symbiosis, a shared life. I saw the potential for our future within you. You and I could have walked together. launch the silo, carrying our shared resolve on the wings of this machine. Symbiosis, a shared life. I saw the potential for our future within you. You and I could have walked together. You are strong, dangerous. I will hold nothing back.
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
I realize what you are. The spark of war. The fires that haunt Rubicon. My brothers and sisters. Humanity wants to burn it all. Everything on Rubicon. I won't let you. Your fire must die.
AP at 50%.
Nathan, I still dream.
You guys are curious, and yeah, let's get into the attack breakdown. So I want to start off with this slash attack. The way to dodge that, it's when there's that moment of pause, that's when you want to dodge back, okay? And she can do this, she can do one swing back up, or she does something else, and then 2 swings back up, or 3 swings back up, or 4 swings. It's random. So yeah, that's the annoying thing about this fight here. So the slash attacks are not consistent. See, that's 3 swings right there, and there you go, the 4th swing. As to the other ones where it was just, you know, 2 swing and she did something else. Here's another variation of her melee attack. There's one where she charges up this move right here. You can see her charge this up. The way to avoid that is you just hover over her, and then sometimes that will end, and sometimes it won't. She'll follow it up with this overhead thing, which you can dodge by dodging diagonal, well, not diagonal, just left side dodge.
I was just constantly getting bombarded. She just gets to your flank and loves to melee attack you. The way I came up with the answer was by accident, but then I also realized that I saw this in an anime. The best way to explain the strat is to show you. That's right, all the time now. You're just gonna have to trust me, bro. It's one of those situations, but I can show you that I've gotten S rank on this boss. You could do this with any build, by the way. As long as you do a decent amount of damage, he's basically gonna try to get on your flank, but be hitting a wall, the red tape. We're using the game's design against the boss. If you want to see my build, I'll put it towards the end of the video, but let's talk about on this boss. You could do this with any build, by the way. As long as you do a decent amount of damage, he's basically gonna try to get on your flank, but be hitting a wall, the red tape. We're using the game's design against the boss. If you want to see my build, I'll put it towards the end of the video, but let's talk about back against the wall. As soon as I figured out that one strat, I beat her 100% of the time now. You're just gonna have to trust me, bro. It's one of those situations, but I can show you that I've gotten S rank on this boss. You could do this with any build, by the way. As long as you do a decent amount of damage, he's basically gonna try to moves around very erratic, and it's very easy to lose track of her, especially if you're not in the outer part of the arena. Keep moving. These lasers are probably gonna hit you. They're very hard to dodge and they're really fast, but you know, they don't do that much damage. Wait until she gets to the wall, then double up on your back unit. I noticed I had more success when I would initially use
carrying our shared resolve on the wings of this machine. Symbiosis, a shared life. I saw the potential for our future within you. You and I could have walked together.
AP at 50%. 2 repair kits remaining. AP at 50%. AP at 30%. Main system activating combat mode.
I will stop you and the Cylon, carrying our shared resolve on the wings of this machine. Symbiosis, a shared life. I saw the potential for our future within you. You and I could have walked together.
AP at 50%. AP at 30%. 2 repair kits remaining. AP at 50%. AP at 30%. 1 repair kit remaining. No repair kits remaining. AP at 50%. AP at 30%. Left shoulder ammunition, right shoulder ammunition at 50%. Main system activating combat mode.
I will stop you and the Cylon, carrying our shared resolve on the wings of this machine. Symbiosis, a shared life. I saw the potential for our future within you. You and I could have walked together.
2 repair kits remaining.
my stun needle launchers to stagger her and then follow up with the bazooka one after the other. That's like the ideal combo. Just make sure you're patient. You know, I was kind of going a little bit crazy with my bazookas. Right there I missed with my stun needle launcher. It is what it is. Just remember to take the shots when you can, and this part is essentially rinse and repeat. There's not much else I can say with phase 1. You just got to make sure you're hitting your shots, and right here you can kind of line of sight with that mound. But again, I get close up, double up on my back units, shoot with the bazookas, and look, phase 1 is over, just like that. When phase 2 starts, she's going to immediately start with this cloning melee attack, which is very similar to Melania's attack in phase 2, but just fly up into the air and try your best to avoid it. So again, you just gotta wait until you line up your shot. You may get hit by some melee attacks. Right here, I'm actually dodging. So look at that. Bazooka, I did my double attack. First thing we're gonna talk about is the arms. I'm going with the Bazooka Majestic because the impact, look how quickly it shoots. If I was gonna do missions with this build, I would probably choose these, the DFBA, just because you get more rounds, so you don't run out of ammo mid-mission, right? But for this fight, and for bosses in general, this one has higher impact, so it makes sense to go with this. Now for the back units, we have the Stun Needle Launcher, aka the anti-iceworm guns. I tried using other back pieces like missile launchers, cluster missile launcher, scatter missile launcher, all sorts of things. And to me, this is just BIS. It's one of the best back units in the game, and it just made sense for me to use it. Look at the video, you shoot it, and things take a lot of damage. So we essentially loaded up both back units with this gun. Now let's talk about the head. I am using the Mine Alpha, which I got from New Game Plus. If you don't have this, don't worry. You could just use the Basho. It's not that big of a deal. I pretty much... A lot of these pieces are going to be from my previous build called the Fly Swatter, which I used for Ibis. So, you know, you could just fall back to a lot of those pieces. So the Basho is a great flex spot if you don't have the Mine Alpha. You know, this one gives us more anti-energy defense. All the stats are pretty decent on it. But with the Basho, the stats are also good as well. So there's your flex spot. Now let's talk about the core. I'm using the VE40A. It's a heavyweight core part, which is perfect for the build because, you know, we're carrying a lot of weight. We get a lot of AP in defensive performance from this. If we use other pieces, we're going to get the EN shortfall, so this one kind of works. You can also use this core. Yeah, honestly, this one is not a bad choice too. I see, so with this one, you're getting a little bit better booster and generator supply. I've been having no issues with this one, so I just kind of kept it the same for my previous build. And let's move on. So with the arms, I'm using the Ephemera. You guys should have this, even if you're not New Game Plus. Stats are pretty good. Firearm specialization. Recoil control is kind of whatever, because we're kind of picking our moments to shoot. We're not going crazy shooting all the time. And we get that anti-energy defense. So a lot of pieces, I'm trying to get that high anti-energy defense, so her attacks are essentially less effective against us. The biggest reason why I made the switch to these legs, the Fortaleza, is because we can shoot our explosive weapons while moving, and we are super fast. Look at the boost speed, 311. If you look at a lot of these legs, no one is close to 311. It seems like it's got the fastest boost. We can carry heavier weapons with it. Crazy mobility. If you want to clear New Game Plus fast, you gotta get these legs, man. They are so good. So for the booster, we can't use anything. And now to the FCS G2P1. The range assist is pretty good all around. We don't really care too much about the long range. Look at the lock correction. I don't know if that helps with our shooting of the bazooka and the stun needle.
system activating combat mode.
I will stop you and the Silo, carrying our shared resolve on the wings of this machine. Symbiosis, a shared life. I saw the potential for our future within you. You and I could have walked together. Rubicon! I'll end this, Raven!
Main system activating combat mode.
I will stop you and the Silo, carrying our shared resolve on the wings of this machine. Symbiosis, a shared life. I saw the potential for our future within you. You and I could have walked together.
Main system activating combat mode.
I will stop you and the Silo, carrying our shared resolve on the wings of this machine. Symbiosis, a shared life. I saw the potential for our future within you. You and I could have walked together.
Main system activating combat mode.
I will stop you and the Silo, resolve on the wings of this machine. Symbiosis, a shared life. I saw the potential for our future within you. You and I could have walked together.
System activating combat mode.
I will stop you and the Silo, carrying our shared resolve on the wings of this machine. Symbiosis, a shared life. I saw the potential for our future within you. You and I could have walked together.
System activating combat mode.
I will stop you and the Silo, carrying our shared resolve on the wings of this machine. Symbiosis, a shared life. I saw the potential for our future within you. You and I could have walked together.
System activating combat mode.
I will stop you and the Silo, carrying our shared resolve on the wings of this machine. Symbiosis, a shared life. I saw the potential for our future within you. You and I could have walked together.
system activating combat mode.
I will stop you and the Cylon, carrying our shared resolve on the wings of this machine. Symbiosis, a shared life. I saw the potential for our future within you. You and I could have walked together.
Main system activating combat mode.
I will stop you and the Cylon, carrying our shared resolve on the wings of this machine. Symbiosis, a shared life. I saw the potential for our future within you. You and I could have walked together.
System activating combat mode.
I will stop you and the Cylon, carrying our shared resolve on the wings of this machine. Symbiosis, a shared life. I saw the potential for our future within you. You and I could have walked together.
System activating combat mode.
I will stop you and the Cylon, carrying our shared resolve on the wings of this machine. Symbiosis, a shared life. I saw the potential for our future within you. You and I could have walked together.
System activating combat mode.
I will stop you and the Cylon, carrying our shared resolve on the wings of this machine.
system activating combat mode.
I will stop you and the Cylon, carrying our shared resolve on the wings of this machine. Symbiosis, a shared life. I saw the potential for our future within you. You and I could have walked together.
System activating combat mode.
I will stop you and the Cylon, carrying our shared resolve on the wings of this machine. Symbiosis, a shared life. I saw the potential for our future within you. You and I could have walked together.
System activating combat mode.
I will stop you and the Cylon, carrying our stop you and the siren. Carrying our shared resolve on the wings of this machine. This oasis of shared life. I saw the potential for our future within. You and I could have walked together. Back.
2 repair kits
I realize what you are. The spark of war. Fires that haunt Rubicon.
1 repair kit remaining.
My brothers and sisters. Closure station.
Main system activating combat mode.
I will stop you and the Cylon, carrying our shared resolve on the wings of this ship. Symbiosis shared life. I saw the potential for our future within you. You and I could have walked together.
AP at 50%.
You were strong, dangerous. I hold nothing back.
AP at 30%. AP at 50%.
I realize what you are. The spark of war. Fires that haunt Rubicon.
AP at 30%.
I'll end this, Raven.
AP at 50%.
My brothers and sisters.
No repair kits remaining. Left hand ended, right hand deposition. AP at 50%.
Humanity wants to go to war. Everything in Rubicon. I will let you. Your fire must die.
AP at 30%. Left shoulder ammunition.
I still believe our shared dream.
There were no winners at the close of the Coral War. When the storm of fire finally faded, only the ashes of civilization remained. Ruined and haunted, the corporations made a joint announcement with the Planetary Closure Administration. Rubicon was to be abandoned, left a dead planet forever. Meanwhile, the monster who burned the stars vanished into the flames, never to be heard from again. Yet history would forever remember. The fires of Raven.
Unlock condition verified. Playing back message. Sender, Handler Walter.
Looks like you got the job done. You chose to carry our burden and right the wrongs of the past. I'm sorry. And I'm grateful. 621. There's nothing left to bind you. Whatever choices you make now, I just hope you find your true potential.
Registration number RB23. Call sign Raven. Authentication complete. Removing MIA status. Restoring access privileges. This is Allmind, the mercenary support system. Raven, you've returned. Welcome back. Allmind anticipates great things from you.
Looks like you passed the authentication. That was quite the welcome home. Well, whatever. Raven, that's who you are now. You're on Rubicon. I've picked up some work for you already. Take a look, 621.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think that ended up being overall closer in this of getting the
First time look, just Scarlet is barely hanging on. She needs something to help her out, and I just don't see what it's going to be. I'm not even sure if the Swarm Horse doing damage on the natural is going to matter, because you're probably just going to get overrun over on this natural. I don't think you can ever defend this base. So Stalker's now in the main as well. It looks as though this is done and dusted.
Yeah, not even really that much probe damage. You know, smart decisions after the fact, but she was already in such a bad situation. What a cheesy build from Estrella, ending this series in a way.
As we set up around this left-hand side, so I think the solution is a Roach Roar. Taking on our teamless pro. Important to win a stage of Dallas on the line, and that is such an easier road to having a good result in Dallas than going through that terrifying open bracket.
Wow. Really? Alright, he's on the way, guys. Oh my gosh, okay. Both players in America, it might be easy for them to participate in the open bracket of Dallas, but the format really punishes open bracket players. So yes, a lot of importance on getting that top 2. But now we can absolutely 100% focus on this. The triple gates wall off coming through. The Overlord checks back in on potential cannon rush places. It just stands in the natural. But that is not what that Overlord needs to be scouting. I mean, the alternative, I guess, it could have just gone directly north. It also wouldn't have scouted this. And Estrella saves the best for last. Not hiding behind a Void Ray, just getting it done within the first 2 minutes.
Not messing around, is he? Well, the gates are coming up. Scarlet is completely clueless to what is happening. And this is going to be a rough time for her, as the Zealot numbers are going to increase quickly. There's no good way to deny the gateways because it's a wall off. I mean, if nothing else, yeah, you're walled into your 2 bases as well. I know that's a long-term problem, but yeah, now the Overlord is going to see this. The gateways are here, and Scarlet is going to have to come up with a solution. As I think the solution is a Roach Roaring ASAP. There's a second gas coming down. I don't think there's anything else you can really do right now.
Oh, it is so difficult. I wish we had player cams, though, for her reaction. But now that we're here, we have seen Zerg players successfully defend a totally unscouted and unprepared defense against the 4 gates that is often, I guess, around a pylon. There's 3 gate. So it is possible that she holds, but this is the best possible circumstance for Estrella to do game-ending damage with this.
I feel like that was a good surround on that first Zealot there, so that gives you a bit of a better chance. Now going to get onto the next Zealot too, so yeah, the mineral wall kind of blocks you a little bit. The next Zealots were on the low ground. Lings will start to come down here. Scarlet still has gas, has not yet spent it, and a few more drones actually popping out for her. She's going to start the Roach Roar and give up the natural, probably is the case here. I don't think you do much. Maybe you try and get some freebie shots on the Zealots, but yeah, I don't think you actually try and fight this. And you just now go into Roaches? Well, don't love it still, obviously, but it's something.
Yeah, I guess the Roach Roar is kind of a difficult thing to place down, actually. Like, you're just on such a low economy that you actually have to be kind of careful about how you place it down. I mean, the Spine Crawler first is obviously understandable, but Roach was coming out perhaps still very well timed against the non-Zealot units, which the Lings are going to have even more difficulty with. You know, they don't have speed. So Roach is absolutely necessary, but now we're in that weird 1 base versus 1 base scenario. Assuming that Scarlet just somehow like holds on to everything she has here, it's still really weird for her. Technically, this is still favoring the Protoss, especially as Estrella gets an expand.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to take a long time for Scarlet because she has to knock down these units, then get to the low ground and knock down the gateways so that she can break out onto the map. This is good control, pulling the drones back, letting the Spine and the Queen take a big part of this. The Lings going down is pretty fine. We lose a couple of drones. That's probably as good as that could have gone. A couple of Ravages coming up, and it's very difficult as well for the Stalkers that are popping out. We're even going to bring that Spine to the low ground too. So Scarlet is slowly but surely getting something of an answer for this right now.
I said it in her games on Friday. I'll say it again for ZVP. She is more practiced than most in these types of games, because she often is the one that forces these weird games. You know, she got 3-gated, so it's not her fault this time, but she does proxy hatches and stuff. So I have some faith in her ability to read through the scenario, but it is just... It does seem impossible. You know, if Estrella loses his production, which obviously is eventually going to happen, but then also loses his army somehow, well, then clearly that's bad news for Estrella. But assuming that he makes sure that he has some form of production, some form of army helping to defend, to be too slow, and take advantage of the time where Estrella doesn't have an reason before Estrella does have an army ready to kill you. That is the question here. Scarlet tries to hold on to some, I would say even light pressure, but you can see how dangerous this can be. Good focus fire attempts from both players.
It's only 4 Stalkers. She was very fortunate to get the gateway. I think she obviously targeted the pile when she saw the gateways with some morph to warp gate. She's like, okay, I got to stop these warp-ins. She did. That was essential. We now need a couple more units just to stop these Stalkers from really succeeding against this hatchery. You cannot afford to lose your hatchery again here. This hatchery coming online is meant to be one of the things that kind of resets things in your favor a little bit. These roaches need to get in front. They need to be the ones taking the damage. We eat a transfusion, so that's nice, but we will lose one Ravager. Couple of gasps as, yeah, it's close, it's tense. The micro is important. The hatchery does live, and the spine's in front. That should be good enough now, but of course, Blink is on the way, and does Scarlet ever have enough to realistically hold off a kind of a big aggressive Blink attack, which is kind of naturally coming now?
Yeah, she doesn't know that for a fact. Yeah, her Overlord hasn't gotten to the fronts. Is obviously too scared to do so. Might be figuring it out. The only thing I can say is that maybe this map does have some nice defensive capabilities. If you were to take the triangle, if she mines out the map and takes the triangle, then Estrella doesn't mine out his side. Then Estrella is only pushing through this ramp. Okay, well, that's not, well, never mind. That's not what she's doing. All right, so now, unfortunately, with Scarlet's third base being where it is, that actually is pretty blinkable. You know, you can get a concave, you can have an escape path to, like, the top right. I am scared. I am concerned. Scarlet gonna try and do everything that Zerg needs to do, fit in all the technology and all the economy that she missed out on.
As we set up a Erasm on the way, and just set up. Obviously, you can even take this base if you want it, as all the extra gates are coming online, but these Stalkers are 100% going to be pressuring, and Scarlet has to figure that part of this out right now as we go down the left. A couple of Crypt Tumors will begin to drop, so she's going to lose her control on this left-hand side, and Estrella, let's see what sort of a fight he's able to pick. Scarlet on equal work account, and is now back into Roaches, and also that Infestation Pit coming through. I wonder if she's going to try and sneak 1 or 2 Infestors out. A good Fungal, locking down the Stalkers from blinking, could be huge.
Yeah, that might be the first thing she gets, and then maybe in a Swarm Host again, honestly, but we'll hold off on that. And I guess Scarlet was kind of damned if she does, damn she doesn't. Either base would have been attacked, as Estrella did mine out his side of the map, and as you said, could you take the base there too? So that, no matter where she took that hatchery, it's a goner, it's dead. Scarlet's on the ropes, her last life in the tournament. If she misses out here, she will not get that seed into Dallas. She'll probably still attend, but it is a much tougher road. And once again, letting victory slip through her fingers. She was up in this series. She had a good chance with that Swarm Host game. And ended up kind of fumbling the ball there. And now, Estrella's looking to end the game with a 2-base Stalker attack that still has the macro. You know, there is still a third Nexus on the way. So, Scarlet has to do better than hold.
Yeah, she needs to. I mean, that's the problem, right? The Pro setup is just so good that all of this pressure is just pressure. It's not commitment. It's not all in. It's just getting some light damage done and then going from there. We are going to see a Nidus coming up. It's going to be able to get the Swarm Host across and hit the natural a little bit. Back damage is not even this natural. I don't think you can have stood.
Like I said, she'll big deal. Significant delay on his 4th base. Could not protect it if he tried to get it any sooner. So Trigger is making all of the decisions.
Really funky, right?
One that goes for a bold move.
My highlight of the day, probably. Love this, the ZVP that we had.
Yeah, I think I agree.
This is a HIMARS, and in the hands of the Ukrainian military, it becomes a major threat to Russian military hardware. Powerful explosions and precise hits on Russian installations. All of this and more, we're showing you today. Let's begin. Ukrainian troops have launched a...
Guys, a crazy thing happened. This is the finals of this week's ESL Open Cup for the Korean server, and it's not Dark spawning with the Zerg pieces, and it's definitely not Hero playing Terran. It's a weird situation. Normally it's those two facing off against each other in the finals. But spawning right here in game number 1 on Alcyone in the top right-hand corner. With the red Zerg drones, we have none other than Solar. And his opponent, playing with the blue SCVs, he goes by the name of Gumiho. Gumiho takes on Solar. For some reason, these two apparently, well, they're very good. Solar still has 80 workers worth of economy, which is more than... Terran's not going to be able to continue raiding that mineral line, but he's got his eyes set right over here at this base. Creep Tumor, though, already getting closer. At link speed is on the horizon. Okay. I think this is okay. I think he should be able to save it. But imagine if he would have started up link speed when he first... I mean, this is very pricey, though, for Solar. Yeah, the link speed being like 5 seconds late really does make the game a lot more complex for him. Okay. So, good start right here for Gumi. Because I don't believe there's a whole lot that Solar can do about the third command center. He didn't quite get the kill on the third hatch. I mean, that would have been an amazing start. But killing 7 Zerglings is not a bad beginning whatsoever. Plus, obviously, this base is now at low hit points. So Gumiho may very well be thinking about trying to get a snipe on that one a little bit later. Stimpack on the back of this. Factory does start up. It's a triple barracks on the back of this, so... Triple Reaper, triple command center, 2 more Reapers, triple barracks. It does mean that any sort of follow-up aggression here is going to be quite slow for Gumi. He really won't be able to do much until Stimpack, well, is finished. He probably also needs at least like 2 medevacs before he can really achieve much, so even just Stimpack is not going to work out that well. We'll probably see a starport here immediately, and I would imagine a reactor over there, yeah. So we're going to do the switcheroo here in a moment and bump out a bunch of those medevacs. So that's the downside of the 5 Reaper start. Yeah, you can put on a lot of pressure early on, but there's really no follow-up with Hellions or Banshees or anything along those lines. So even though the early game is very aggressive for Terran, the follow-up really doesn't allow them to do all too much until those medevacs hit the battlefield. Solar could obviously transfuse the hatchery if he's really concerned about losing it, but I don't think he wants to waste the energy on it at this point in time, because it just really doesn't make a lot of sense. Double upgrades here for Gumi. Lair's going to finish up here in about, well, maybe a minute from now for Solar. He decided to go Baneling Nest before Lair, which is always a bit funky, but I think it's really just him making some defensive Banelings. Yeah, he doesn't really know exactly what the follow-up is, and obviously this is Gumiho. So it could be a Hellbat all-in. It could literally be anything. So I guess Solar just playing this as safe as he possibly can. He's gonna see the Marine push out right here. Love the fact that Gumi took control of the Watchtower. Yeah, it's a bit of a fake move out. Is it? It's so funny, man. I feel like playing against Gumiho is one of the worst things that you gotta do as a pro gamer. He does an entire move out, and then he's like, nah, I'm going back home. Never mind, I am not. Ah, yeah, la, la, la. I'm like, oh, never mind, I'm going back to the Watchtower. Just forcing unit production out of the opponent is already slowing down the economy, obviously. It does create a bit of a difficult game now as well, though, for Terran. Because at some point, you're gonna face off... Like, normally, we kind of see the armies trade a couple of times. And you can sort of estimate how large the Zerg swarm is going to be. But that is not something Gumiho can really do at this point. Like, you can force out units very frequently, but you don't actually know exactly how much the Zerg has produced. I think Solar has been doing a good job, though, balancing the army and the economy. Hydra then coming up. Reapers pretending to be Marines. Oh, lovely little grenade, although you gotta be careful you don't accidentally boop those Banelings into your Marine ball. Armory coming up nice and quickly, so he can go straight into 2-2. Okay. Solar going up to about 80 workers. I think 80 to 85 is good, especially when you're playing a Hydraling Bane-based army. You do need to have a decent worker count so you can actually replenish the lost units, because this will rarely trade very cost efficiently against top-level Terrans. At least it shouldn't be. Like, the best way to trade cost efficiently is to get good connections with the Banelings. But honestly, that is mostly up to the Terran player, right? If they micro well, Gumiho shouldn't be trading. Oh my god. Wait, we're 8 minutes into this series and Gumiho has not lost a single unit yet. There is a push up here now, though. Did he lose something? No! He's still... This is still a perfect game for Gumi. That's actually kind of insane. The fact that we have not lost any minerals or gas yet, 8 minutes into this, considering how aggressive he has been, it's kind of nuts. Okay, well, the first Marines are going to die now. A siege tank will also fall, but this is still a fight, though. Pretty deep off creep. Solar can't really chase this all the way. And the cost efficiency of the Terran Bio Ball does continue. +2 starts up. Same can be said on the other side of the map. Both players, despite very different build orders and obviously playing very different races, are still pretty much neck and neck as far as the upgrades go. Ooh, careful. Yeah, Gumiho has got some decent micro, don't get me wrong, but I don't think anybody looks at Gumiho as like the micro Terran, you know? He's no Clem or Maru or Björn or... He's still very good, of course. Can certainly split his Marines. But he always cuts it very close. Alrighty. We don't have a Hive and a Lurker Den yet. I mean, we have a Hive coming up, but no Lurker Den. Usually those are timed together. Could just be for Adrenal Glands, maybe a couple Blinding Clouds. He's getting some good value out of those Marines, though. Another Siege Tank driving closer. This choke point is very messy. Well, for the first 8 minutes of the game, no single Terran unit died. But no worries, Gumiho made up for it. Suddenly we're up to 75 infantry units going down. It's like Gumiho hurt me. It's like, wait a second, Loco said I didn't lose anything? Let me fix that! Everybody die! There's the Lurker Den. I think I actually forgot it. Viper coming up. Adrenal Glands. I mean, he probably didn't forget it. He just, you know, was in the middle of aggression and he needed to spend his money on army. You know, and therefore he, quote-unquote, forgot it. He decided to delay it for a little while. Barracks 6, 7, and 8. Do we have a Ghost Academy yet? No Ghost Academy here for the Terran. This is the type of game, though, that Solar loves to play. Solar basically always plays these long, drawn-out games. It seems like, in general, he's more than happy to let the game go the distance. Lurker ranged. +1 missile coming up as well for the Hydras and the Lurkers. And the Queens. Don't forget about the Queens. Although I would imagine the Queens don't really deal that much damage anymore at this stage in the game. Ooh, Fusion Core coming up. Usually you go Ghost Academy before Fusion Core. There's only a single starport at this point as well. Unless Gumiho meant to make a Ghost Academy. Anyways, there's the Nidus network coming up, by the way, for Solar. So this is basically exactly what I was trying to say earlier. I think he's going to hit his opponent in the face for the very first time when he can get Lurkers inside of the opponent's main. Or at least in a position where he can get some value in. Yoink. Solar very much so, though, the type of guy to just sit there and absorb every attack. Started mixing some Marauders right now, which I think is an excellent choice. What is the Fusion Core for, though? I'm assuming it's Liberator ranged. Advanced Ballistics is really good. But it's also a bit early. We're still making Medifex. I mean, there is one Liberator over here that's been annoying for a bit. It's got 3 kills. And it's dead. Yeah. There's Advanced Ballistics. There's the second starport. So I think we're just gonna go mass Liberator then in the late game. Okay. Now, of course, now Lurkers are an option. There's the, the Nidus Worm going up on the other side of the map. Medevac drop heading on over towards the 12 o'clock or the top right-hand corner right now. It's been hanging out up north for a bit. Excellent siege tank spread, though. Very difficult for the Zerg to get in there. Medevac drop also super annoying. Nidus Worm at this point pops out on the other side of the map. It's not inside of the main. Do we have enough? Ooh, do we have enough Blinding Clouds? I mean, the siege tank spread is massive, Solar. I don't think he realizes how many tanks there actually are. Push in the main base is deflected. Nidus Worm, yeah, not really unloading just yet, although he does have a couple of lurkers occupied in there. I don't think it would be a bad choice. There we go. Ready to send them in and maybe deal some counter-attack damage. Obviously, this push here in the top section of the map is difficult to break. Medevac over there goes down. Kill on the gold base expansion as well. This is not an easy cleanup right here for the Terran, but he's just gonna do it with siege tanks, marines, and marauders. Okay. Hatch over here goes down as well. Now the Liberator production begins. We have the Caduceus reactor research too, which is the medevac improvement. So for some reason, Gumiho is refusing to make ghosts. I don't know if I agree. I want to believe in the power of the Liberator, but he's been getting some incredible value though with these attacks of his. So he killed that base up here. He did do, I guess, a lot of distracting with that squad. He did kill the gold base minerals too. Cost efficiency here is still ridiculous. I am just scratching my head right here at the lack of ghosts. Like, ghosts are great against both Vipers as well as Lurkers. As well as Ultras, and as well as, you know, Brute Lords, as well as Infestors, as well as Ravagers if you're feeling ambitious, as well as, like, Hydras. I've even seen them snipe Banelings. Maybe not so great against Zerglings, though, but they're pretty good against Queens, too. Gumiho playing the no ghost challenge. Maybe he's afraid of ghosts. Could be. Maybe he checks underneath his bed every morning or night or both. I don't know. I mean, he's still absolutely smashing, though. It's just so difficult. Like, how do you push into this? I guess Liberators kind of fulfill a similar role in the sense that they're, like, capable of forcing the Zerg to, at the very least, back off. But Vipers can abduct this quite nicely. I think what Solar should do is add on a couple more Vipers with the amount of gas that he's got. Maybe a few Vikings. What about Vikings at this point, Gumi? To make sure that the Vipers don't destroy you. Yeah, it's definitely possible. It just seems like it's overcomplicating the game. There's, by the way, the Ghost Academy. So Gumiho thinking the same thing now. He's like, wait a second. This is like hitting my head against a wall. It's maybe kind of fun, but also a bit unnecessary. Parasitic Bomb here would be really nice too. Solar, by the way, back to maxing out. At this point, though, in a very strange way, it's Gumiho who's swarming the Zerg. Even though Solar is playing a very swarmy unit composition, Gumiho is taking up a lot of bases on the map. And in a very weird way, Gumiho is containing the Zerg. Basically just allowing Solar to have the bases that he's got right now, but no more than that. I love watching Gumi play. He didn't want to go Ghosts, but they're coming out right now. Cheeky little Zergling run by though over in the natural expansion. The hit squad of Marines and Marauders in the main base has been very, very handy for a while now. Push over at the front also continues. And ultimately, this is looking to me like Gumiho is tightening the noose. He's whispering to Solar, don't resist. Just give up, man. Just shh. No worries, we're gonna play a couple more games. Look, I'll even kill my own Liberator for you. Shh, don't worry. No more pain, Solar. Only dreams. Cheeky little Nidus Worm once again coming up, but it's starting to feel mighty desperate. Tactical nuke to rub salt in the wound. You love to see it. Unless you're a Zerg. Then maybe you don't. Wait a second, I'm a Zerg player myself. Ah, dang it. Alright, snipes are here. And immediately the Zerg breaks out of the contain. Somewhat. Gumiho, by the way, not going for that mass command center style, which is kind of funny. He's only got 5 orbital commands. 5 orbital commands would be considered quite a bit just about 2 years ago, but In the current day and age, Terrans usually aim for about a dozen command centers because that is like your safety net, you know? That is your investment into the future. So your children can go to college and you never have to worry about your parents and stuff. You can just cruise at that point. At this point, Gumiho is not living paycheck to paycheck, but he does have to be a little cautious here that he doesn't get dragged down all too much. We're like one emergency away from this actually being a comeback for Solar. But this is a really nice hit though. Interesting late game here from Gumi. Practically refusing to make ghosts for a really long time. Focusing on Mass Liberator. And really just trying to contain the opponent. Now this is scary though. This many lurkers is not easy. It's not easy to break. I guess Liberators are pretty good against it. Yeah. I would always love to see a single Raven, but as we all know, Terrans they don't think they can. Do love the Niduses though. Obviously the Liberators cannot kill structures. So those lurkers going back and forth and back and forth. You know what? Maybe Solar's been contained on 5, maybe 6 bases. He's feeling okay about it. Ooh, careful. Okay, well this is risky. Hello. Parabomb's finally going down, but that was way overextended right there by Solar. He's only got 1 lurker here. I actually think Gumiho could push up to the high ground, but he doesn't know because he doesn't have a gajillion scans. He's scanning over here. Normally Terrans have infinite scans at this stage in the game. Yeah, I think with this late game, Gumiho is overcomplicating the game a lot. If it would have been a bit more even going into like, maybe like minute 15 or so, this would have been a very scary game for Gumi. I'm still certainly favoring him, but it's pretty clear that this is not an easy game for the Terran to close out now. Maybe this is also a great example for those of you that don't love watching those turtle games as to why we see Terrans playing a lot of those late game turtle games. Because it secures the win. Right now, this is starting to look like a bit of a gamble here for the Gumi God. He should still be okay though. There's an entire base here in the top left-hand corner that he doesn't know about, which is very risky. Oh, this is also very risky though. Gumiho sees the lurkers that are being morphed in right now, and this may actually be the nail in the coffin. Well, he decides to cancel and move forward, but there it is. GG is called. It is indeed Gumiho who wins. Sometimes works as a StarCraft fan when you're figuring out what is considered. I would actually love to see a bunch of Zerglings over here try and go for the surround. Oh, okay. Well, this is all a little bit clumsy here from Solar. But look at Solar skyrocket ahead when it comes to the supply count. He doesn't really need to rush engaging into this. He's got the lair done. Yeah. This is not the cleanest defense, though. Yeah, the fact that the Marines managed to get over there is all a little bit messy. But I can imagine it's also been a while since Solar has actually actively played against just a Marine opener like this. 1-1 upgrades. 3rd command center is going to fly on down towards the low ground. And eventually, Gumiho will be able to secure it. Okay. And this is kind of the issue you run into with this opener. Like, sure, you dealt some damage to the Zerg. Sure, Solar is not really being aggressive here. But can you really call this a lead right now for Terran? Not really. Infestation Pit coming up. We'll see a quick hive. I'm assuming we're going to see +2 armor. There it is. The main thing, though, that Solar has at this point is, or that he doesn't have, rather, is a good economy. So his economy is a bit lackluster. Gumiho apparently taking the 3rd base over here. Good movement. If he would have gotten surrounded, it could have been an issue. Still a lot of Marines, though. Yeah. If Solar manages to go up to full 4-base saturation, which he's arriving at right about right now, I think he's going to feel really good about himself. Okay, Hive about a quarter of the way. Adrenal Glands obviously is amazing here. Solar doesn't have any anti-air other than Queens, so no Hydras this time around, no Mutas or anything like that, so it's still easy to get overwhelmed here by the Metavex. Good target firing right here. Nicely done by the Gumi God. But it's just, it becomes such a predictable game, right? From the Zerg's point of view, he knows exactly what's gonna happen. Now, you can tell that he still can get caught off guard. Getting a kill in the hatchery and all that is, yeah, pretty sweet for Gumi, but it's a relatively simplistic game right now for Solar. And as soon as he gets up to Ultralisk, which I think is this is very likely going to be an Ultralisk play, he's gonna feel really good. As we saw in the previous game, Gumiho not too keen, there it is, not too keen on going into Ghosts. So if he doesn't have Ghosts, for which he really needs like 4 base economy, if he doesn't have Ghosts, Ultras are gonna destroy him. Still though, this is a massive Terran army right now. And Solar is not at Hive Tech yet. I mean, he's got Hive, but he's researching right now. He's going for a Viper, he's going for Adrenal Glands. He needs to push this army back. And that's the real question. Does he have enough to actually shut down this Terran army? This is, for all intents and purposes, by the way, a triple CC all-in right here for Gumi. So he's got a bunch of barracks. He doesn't go up to barracks 6, 7, and 8 yet, but he also doesn't have a 4th command center. I actually like this here from Solar. Solar has decided that he doesn't want to engage into this angle, so he's just giving up on this base. He's already transferred the drones early. Big Zergling counterattack, scouting for a 4th. Realizes that it's not there. He's got vision here as well, so he knows that the opponent is on 3cc. So giving up that base is excellent. It buys him a lot of time. And in the meantime, Adrenal Glands, Chitinous Plating, and Ultralisk, all of it is coming up. As long as this base survives, Solar is going to feel pretty good. Oh, cheeky little abduction. Gumio is like, yo, bro, come and play. Come and play right over here on this section of the map. Come on, buddy. Just come down to the low ground. Solar's like, no, I don't want to. Larva pretty good, man. They have so much armor. Yeah, Gumiho is still maxed out though. Another abduction. Here's the Ultra. We only have one Ultra. It does have an entire group of queens, though. A swarm of queens. A court of queens. A murder of queens. Anyways, it's got an entire group of queens following it around. Transfusions are pretty sweet. But it's just Marine Tank. 2 more Ultras are coming. Okay. Solar needs to be very careful. This could actually turn into a disaster. Gumiho, by the way, still not at a 4th command center. Yeah, he can't kill the Ultras, can he? Abduct the Liberator, I would imagine? Transfuse the Ultras? I mean, this is kind of working, though, for Gumi. I don't think it's supposed to, but... Oh. Bunch of Misreli Terran units, though. Can't afford doing that, Gumi. So Gumiho is on a pretty significant timer. But it's not like Zerg has that great of an eco either. It's just that the Marines can't really push by themselves. Because as soon as an Ultralisk says hello, they're gonna get swiped to death. Queens can no longer transfuse off creep. Apparently we are gonna chase this army down. I don't know if I agree with that move, to be honest, but the Queens are back. So the Ultras can get some additional HP too. Solar's Immortal Ultralisks. They're pretty nice. The creep may actually be very lethal, though. Although, to be fair, Solar doesn't have a lot of energy on the Queens anymore either. I think Gumio is actually doing this. Gumio is actually getting it done. This is one of those losses for Solar that really wasn't supposed to happen. Oh, god. Okay, well, you can't let those banelings connect with your bio ball, though. Is it a loss? I still can't quite tell. There's another fresh Ultralisk. Fresh out of the cocoon. Ooh, careful. He's been like 40-ish supply ahead for a while now. 5 additional queens coming up. All the bases are disconnected. I actually don't know if this is necessarily a Gumiho window. There's a new base over here. Solar can transfer his drones in that direction. A new command center, by the way, was made. Gumiho decided to make a command center during all of this? That, I don't know if I agree with that, but he is getting so much value done. Gumiho, this can't be the right strategy, but he's still making it work. He's like, Marines, best unit in the game. Good against tier 1 Zerg, good against tier 2 Zerg. Apparently good against tier 3 Zerg as well. GG is cold. The Gumi God. You can't hope for a much better start as Terran. So effectively, it's the same build, except faster upgrades. The same build as we have seen for a long time. But this is the old school version of the build, which is kind of funny. It's the circle of StarCraft build orders. Get out of here with the circle of life. Yeah, a lot of players like to think of build orders in StarCraft 2 as like a pyramid, where there's like one perfect build order out there somewhere, but it doesn't exist. It's a cycle. He's made it work every single time, so maybe I should stop saying it, but he is opting for a late third command center, and he's not really getting any value out of his late third command center, right? AKA the army that he's been making up to this point. Medevac baiting the queens. Okay, ultimately Medevac falls. One of the queens did making up to this point. Medevac baiting the queens. Okay, ultimately Medevac falls. One of the queens did as well, but that's a lot of dead Marines. And this really takes the wind out of the sails of the Terran. Now, luckily for him, he's going up against Solar, and Solar is a very nice guy. He won't kill. Nah, he won't kill you. Nah, he won't go and kill you here. He's gonna sit here and defend his 4th base instead. But if this was Dark or Raid, the same build, similar looking build. At this point in the game, he hadn't lost a single unit yet. Oh, whew, okay. Right now, we're talking 18 Marines that have already died. That is significantly worse than game number 1, and that makes this attack here from the Zerg so much scarier too. I think he's just gonna overwhelm this. Yeah, these Terran units are blending into the map quite nicely though. If you're colorblind, I can imagine that those Marines and siege tanks up there are basically invisible. Okay. Yeah, I think these builds are nice from Gumi when you're cruising, right? When life is going well and you're dealing some damage and you're picking up and you're on top of things, it's pretty great. But when you're playing the same strategy from behind, it doesn't feel nearly the same. Because now he's just kind of hitting a brick wall again. Not really achieving anything with his push. Not really having a good economy. Not really having particularly fast upgrades. And while he does still have a decent army, yeah, all of the pushes are falling flat on their face. And the longer that this goes on, the better it's going to be for Solar. Now again, luckily here for the Terran, Solar doesn't really attack you very much. +2/+2 though is just about to finish. There we go. Hive is just going to be finished as well. Once more, not opting to go Lurkers. So maybe could be Ultras once again, I guess. Could also just be for just upgrades. Just going 3/3 and Adrenal Glands is pretty nice. Okay. Maybe Gumiho can get the tempo once again, but nope. These Marines are gonna be forced to pick up. Yep. Once again, quick Ultralisks right here for Solar. Mainly roll by. Would you look at this? Solar being so aggressive! Doing the most standard of standard aggressions ever! Okay. Well, Solar's like, yo, this is why I never do it! It never works at the highest level. Maybe it works in your latter games, Loco, but you gotta do it in conjunction with something else, man. You gotta do it the way that, like, you know, the Rainers of this world do it. Where they're, like, stabbing you in 17 angles at once, and then at some point the Banelings roll through the cracks. Okay. Gumio is still with an army lead, by the way. It's once again, more... It's just such a terrible army for the late game. It's pretty good for now. But Ultras are coming. And much like in the previous game, Ultras should win the game, right? Right? Guess we'll find out. There is a drop inside of the main base too. It's trying to go after the Ultra Cavern, it seems. Not achieving all too much. Push over here. Ooh, Blinding Cloud shutting a lot of this Terran army down. That siege tank in the back, by the way, 39 kills. Look at this guy. Get that dude a medal. Whew. Not bad at all. It's a bit of a repeat of the previous game, though, except this time around Solar is just in a much more comfortable position. Oh. Yeah, you just can't fight Ultras. I mean, it's an Ultra without chitinous, though. Okay, well, that's... Oh, well, never mind. It also needs to deal some sort of damage. 4 spores immediately. Yep, 430 spore makes sense. Yeah, all good. That Raven is weird. What's the... Maybe he wants to kill creep tumors with it? But I don't think you can really justify going for this opener and then just kill a bunch of creep tumors. Oh, transfusional drones. There we go. Look at the worker count, though, when these 8 drones finish up. And this is what I'm talking about. Maybe these Hellions can even the odds a little bit, though. Okay. There is a creep tumor inside of the main base. This is very messy, though. Not enough Lings available, actually. He's been losing one too many of these groups of Lings. Drones decide to evacuate. Banshee go on a town. Imagine a second Banshee. We have a... Instead, we have a Raven. Fair enough. Good crisis management right here by Solar, though. Even though that was very messy, because he ended up losing a lot of Lings before he should have. When the Hellions came into the main base, he managed to minimize losses. Hey, would you look at that? It is actually a mech play. Huh, okay. So double armory on the back it is. And we're gonna go mass factory production. Okay. I don't expect that yet either, because he's only seen one. This is a weird combination of units. Look at the Banshee. The Banshee together with a Raven. Okay. 1-1 upgrades here for Cyclones. The Hurricane upgrade. The Speedy Boy upgrade. Well, actually, both of these upgrades are for speed. Speed, violence, and momentum. That's what Gumio is going for. So, I think this will be the moment where Solar finds out that something is a bit fishy. Yep, now he sees the additional Hellion production. Instantly fires up an Infestor. Hive also coming up very early, though. There's the Roach Speed. He must have already realized that this was mech, because he's actually decided to go missile and melee upgrades. Bailing Nest on the back of it, too. So he's gonna go into what seems to be a Brute Lord transition, trying to stay alive with Roach Ravager, Ling Bane, and then an Infestor for a Fungal. It's a good unit composition. But Gumio should see this coming in from a mile away. Now would you look at that Raven, guys. I've been shouting about Ravens for years. Terrans keep telling me it's impossible, Loco. We can't possibly make a Raven. Are you insane? I can't afford it. It's too expensive. I gotta say, I like it, Gooby. Good number of kills, by the way, on these units now. 8 kills on the first one. He's just adding on more and more Banshees. Okay. My main concern right here for Gumi is that he's going full battle mech. So it's Hellions, it's Cyclones, it's a Raven, and then a load of Banshees. It's powerful, it's very strong as far as the harassment goes, but it doesn't really have a lot of straight up firepower, if that makes sense, right? Like, it's good in like these like harassment based stuff. It's kind of like maxing out on mutas. Is it a good idea to max out on mutas? Maybe. I'm just afraid that like this is one fungal growth away from being an absolute disaster. Gumio is going up to 83 workers, by the way. He's adding on even more. 4th command center coming up. New command center is building at home as well. Brute Lords are on the horizon, though. There is the adrenal glands research, too. I don't love the passivity from Solar. I really think he should try and at least roll down a couple Banelings and get some sort of work done. He's always playing it so passively. Okay. Well, we're gonna see how that Battle Mech army performs against this Zerg force. Gumio really just clearing out creep. I'm inclined to imagine that's a bad plan, but... Okay, so historically, Battle Mech, so the style that Gumio is playing here, this very mobile mech army, has always been on a bit of a timer. Obviously, though, this is also a unit composition that's gone... Oh, okay. Big mistake. It's gone through about 1,000,001 changes. Cyclones once more got updated recently. And I don't really know exactly how this plays out currently. Anti-armor missile here is so good. Both players are effectively playing a glass cannon composition, where they're just dealing damage. Very little survivability, very little armor. It is just damage across the board. Another big anti-armor missile. Raven MVP? Oh, drops an auto turret down too. With the Brute Lord numbers growing, though, it's going to be really tough for Gumio to get a kill on a Brute Lord. But he's doubling down. He's actually just pumping out 9 Cyclones at once. Okay, now a Thor comes up. Oh, no, 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 no! Solar sleeping on the job for just a little bit. Way overextending right there with the Brutes. He's still getting... He wanted to get into this, like, dead space, right? Where the Cyclones can't really reach him. He did recover pretty quickly from there, but that could have been an absolute disaster. Cyclones trying to get the lock on. Kiting backwards. So normally, as soon as you see Brute Lord play, what you do is you add on Thors when you're playing Terran Mech. Gumio is adding on a Thor. Okay. Good unit. 15 kills, by the way, on the Banshee. 1 Thor to find them. 1 Thor to bind them, and in the... I don't know. I messed that all up. But you get what I'm trying to say. I don't want to speak the foul language of Mordor here. Or, I mean, Mordor. Banelings rolling forward. Nice splits right there by Gumi. Big Cyclone splits. You love to see it. Those Brutes have been having a good time. But I think ultimately they will be brought back. I think Gumio was actually reading this correctly. I was a little hesitant when he only made a handful of Thors, because he's adding on a couple more now. But I think he is making the assumption that the Brute Lords are mostly just here to try and bait out more Thors. Because Solar on the back of this is going basically mass ground. And obviously Thors are really good against air, but not so much against ground. Creep spread, though, looking ridiculous right now for Solar. Who's looking to bring it all back. It feels like an uncomfortable game to me for Gumi. But then again, this is the first time that the man is actually making a load of command centers in this series. And ultimately, his economy is really good. Yeah, this Zerg army here is what the kids would call very mid. For real, dude. Low-key, very mid. Baneling's trying to get a roll in. A lot of clumped up Terran units here, but some nice last-second splits. Brute Lords on the left side of the map. Trying to see if they can potentially drag that army away. And would you look at that? It's a Raven. One day, Ravens will be a standard unit in every Terran late game composition. Today is not that day. I've been shouting about it for years, but I think one day we will see it as every single match. As a part of every single match, rather. Some big corrosive piles going down. Nicely done right there by Solar. What do you make, though, here as Solar? Ultra's not very good. I think a few Vipers would be a good addition, but obviously the Thors still have a ton of range. Yeah, I think the swarmy approach here from Solar is not a bad choice. So he's effectively just going 87 workers here and just sending wave after wave after wave of unit. That does mean, though, that Solar should aim to try and soft contain the Terran. So right now, yeah, he's been trading armies. Yeah, he's got a superior economy, but he isn't really containing the Terran very much. Gumiho is also playing a strategy where at some point he can get rid of a lot of his SCVs and go for some additional army instead. Now, these Blinding Clouds are hurting the Terran quite a bit, though. Roaches and Ravagers getting very close. Nicely done right here by Solar. In the meantime, there's a Cyclone squad on the other side of the map, and all-army hotkeyed Raven also moved way too... Okay, anti-armor missile. As he went down, you'll have to see it on the Overlords. This is a lot of Cyclones, by the way, in one game. Push over at the bottom of the map. More Cyclones over there, too. And they will be able to get some damage in here. It's a transition from Solar, by the way, into what seems to be an even glassier cannon unit comp. So we went from a glass cannon unit comp into something that's even more fragile in the form of Hydralisks. One of the downsides right here for Zerg is that he's been forced to do attack upgrades. So he doesn't actually have armor. Gumiho has got +3 armor here, so those Zerg units don't hit quite as hard. The stutter step micro on Cyclones is so weird. He's getting insane value, though, with this Terran army. Base in the left side of the map, also getting some value in. I wouldn't mind seeing Terran try to secure that expansion. Load of drones going down, though. This Blue Flame Hellions not messing around. We're all the way up to 58 dead Cyclones. We still have 17 of them at this point in the game, and 5 more coming up. Gumiho quite literally just making as many of them as he can afford. Yep, another 11 on the production tab. Hydras do well, though. Yeah, another 11 on the production tab. Hydras do well, though. Yeah, Hydras are very powerful, but again, they need support. Solar still has 80 workers worth of economy, which is more than Gumi, but at the same time, Gumiho has also got a lot of orbital commands, and he did kill a load of his opponents' drones earlier, plus this expansion going down. The longer that this goes on, the more I actually like it for Gumi. Even though Gumiho is not maxed out, it's quite difficult for Solar now to take another base. Like, this expansion's doable, I guess, somewhat. This forward expansion, yeah, very difficult. Creep spread is not where it once used to be. Okay. Brute Lords on the left side of the map, though, putting in a lot of work. I think Solar is not doubling down on the Brute Lords, mostly because of the fact that they're quite slow compared to Battle Mech. So he can't really force an engagement with it. At the same time, it also kind of feels like in a straight-up fight, this Zerg army is struggling quite a bit. Although those Biles are once again good. That's a siege tank going down. 12 SCVs, by the way, have now been killed here by the Brute Lords. Here come the Cyclones. That cooldown obviously is... okay, he doesn't need the cooldown on the lock-on ability. GG is cold. Oh, just like that. Gumiho, by making...